Hello everybody and welcome to Homemade Parade with Recreate Ireland and Dublin City Council. My name is Jo and you are very welcome to the Creative Shed, where we'll be sharing with you a little series of workshop videos. In these videos we will be bringing families together by making things with reuse materials. These items can be rescued from your recycling bin, or you may have other items of interest lying around the house. We will be encouraging you to get your creative brain game on, and of course making sure that we bring plenty of play and fun while we do it. Each of the 3 videos has a different theme around making your very own homemade parade. Together we will be creating window displays, parade props and costumes. You may choose to only watch one of the videos or all 3 of them, and obviously multiple times. The choice is absolutely yours. At Recreate, we take pride in letting you drive your own creativity, but we are always here to guide you with tips, hints and inspo to get you started. This video is called Believe in Your Gold, because we believe in your gold, and I have that song stuck in my head. The video will be in 3 little sections, each about creating displays and decorations and how they can be shown off so that you and your friends and your local community can enjoy them too. In the first section, we're going to be looking at how you can make a window display like a pro. Okay, get ready. On your marks, get set, start creating. Okay, so let's get started on making our window display like a pro. I am going to be giving you a few ideas and then you're going to run with it because, you know, believe in your gold. Okay, sorry about the pun. I've been thinking of a few different things. So I've been collecting ideas around how you too can make a window display. Now I'll tell you what I use, and I'm not expecting you to have any of this material. This is like a coloured vinyl and it's sticky on one side. So I challenged myself to think, how could we do the same thing without having this stuff called a coloured vinyl? So I'm going to throw that away to the side. So I have collected green card, some packaging because I really like it. I quite like that it's almost like it's like shadow qualities there. I might not use all of these, but these are just to give you a bit of an idea. I've got some mesh, orange, yellow and green there. I just have that little sample lying around. I have a bit of cellophane. Now this, you could get something like this from packaging. So I have a little bit of packaging here. So this was something that I got a little gift in, and I think that that's like a little beautiful window already done for us there. If you had something this small, you might want to do a little mock-up of what you think it might look like. And what I mean by mock-up is you want to test it before you actually run with an idea. And you could cut out shapes and then pop them in behind, or glue them onto the front of it to see what it might look like in real life. So I've also got some green tissue paper, which you cannot go wrong, green and also orange, and then some white packaging paper. Here we go, nice and crunchy, and then a few little bits of coloured material as well, just in case. And I also thought that this packaging was almost like a little window as well, so we might be able to do something with like that, if you have something like that lying around. And the little birds that you might be able to see dotted around, they were in this little box. So there's a few things from my own recycling and items that I've kind of kept. And then I have also kept, I've got tin foil, and I've also got some plastic wrap or cling film. So what I would first suggest for you to do is, if we're thinking about creating your own parade and you want to send a message out to people who live nearby, to your friends or family, and maybe you want to create something. So what I would recommend doing is, if you wanted to, so I'm going to start cutting out maybe, I don't know, love heart shapes in green because shamrocks are made of green, and that's always a good place to start. So I'm just folding my bit of paper up loads of times, and then very quickly with my ginormous scissors, I feel a little bit like Alice in Wonderland with these scissors because they're so huge, and I'm just very quickly going to cut out some heart shapes there like that. And then you might want to take either your plastic packaging and put a little bit of Pritt stick on them, okay? So a little bit of Pritt. I'm going to use this film that I have here that I've found, and stick them down onto it. And you might have them dotted around the edge. You might have other things that remind you of, oh, that's kind of nice like that as well. So even when I'm cutting and sticking things together, I find that I get loads of inspiration from even the cut-offs that we use. But like I said, this is all about you and your own designs and own ideas. So this is one way to do it. Now, you could have, this is almost like a window in itself, isn't it? So that's very, very quickly done, and it makes quite an impact as well. If you have a piece of cellophane or something clear like this, you could hole punch the edges, string them up to the top of the window and let that hang in the window. So you're not actually sticking the bits to the physical window themselves. Or, which I thought was very smart when I was thinking about this, is you could, I did try this and it does actually work. If you take a little bit of cling film, but you might want to take a whole sheet, maybe somebody there could give you a hand. Stick whatever it is you're using to the window itself. So let me show you. So you're holding your bit of green stuff there, and then you're sticking it over like so. And it, oops, that wasn't a very good example, but it does work. So you can almost like trap things in between obviously because this is a bit soft, it's not holding quite as well. It's trying to escape, but you get the idea there. So you could use cling film. Or if you don't mind a little bit of a clean afterwards, you could use a little tiny bit of Pritt stick on the, or even blue tack. You could use that potentially as well. So yeah, make your windows nice and big and bold, use every corner. When I'm doing window designs or when I'm thinking about that, I divide my windows up into 3, and then each window has its own like little story, although when you're looking at the whole thing, the whole window is a story. Whoopsie, I just threw that on the floor there. So there's loads of ideas there that you can use for that. Very, very simple, and lots of the same shape and repetition works really, really well. Another quick, very quick idea is I found this plastic packaging, which is almost thinner than like your normal kind of copybook paper, but not as, but thicker than tissue paper. And this, when I was holding this up, you could almost make like cut out shapes and use it like a slight, like maybe a puppet show kind of thing, if you know what I mean, like a shadow puppet. So you could stick all of your images or whatever shapes you've cut out, circle shapes, hearts, green hearts, shamrocks, whatever it might be, rainbows, and you could stick them on and then have a light shining behind it as well. So it almost creates shadow. You could cut, colour in the paper straight away as well. So something nice, a nice big piece of paper that you could even cut out into shapes as well, and then use it. I can actually see my hand through the paper there, and it makes a really, really nice shadow. So there's a few ideas. I'm going to move on to the next one, going to clear this away and then move on to our next one. And our next part is going to be all around creating a banner. I just had to remind myself there, creating banners. So this is also something that you could hang up in your window, or maybe you hang outside for your friends and your family and your local community to enjoy. Okay, so now we've done our brief introduction to window display design. Now we're going to move swiftly on to creating a banner. So while I was thinking about this part of it, I was thinking, what could be lying around that you might have that you might not worry about getting rid of or saying goodbye to, but that you can repurpose and reuse it for something creative and beautiful. So I was thinking about these hangers, which have the clippy bits. And what do hangers do? They hang clothing. So I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool? Now, you might have a t-shirt or a piece of clothing at home that you don't mind passing over into your creative materials department. And this, I have a, between you and I, a manky old white t-shirt, doesn't belong to me, but that could be used and that makes quite a good banner starting point, I think. So if you decide that you want to make a banner, and maybe you want to wish everybody a festive hello and celebration, or, you know, happy St. Patrick's Day, or like something along those lines on there, and you wanted to do some writing, I would recommend putting a piece of cardboard inside and taping it down so it doesn't budge too much, because it can get quite frustrating if it's all bunching up while you're using your marker pens for it. Marker pens will be a little bit time consuming, but you can get some quite cool effects from it. I would probably use maybe paint. You could also, if you have any of this packaging around, you could make a stamp out of this, okay? So use maybe, if you've got like a bottle or a yogurt pot or something, I'll put my lovely white t-shirt down. You could create like a heart or a square or a circle or whatever out of your packaging, stick it onto the bottom, cover that in paint, and then use it like a stamper, so you're getting the same shape multiple times. Also hang on to the stampers, because you never know when you might need them again. They're also really fun, and then you could just run with the wildness of stamp, 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 get all that frustration out. Also, what you could do is to decorate your banner, is you could use something which is going to be waterproof, which you might have. So I was thinking about like those reusable plastic carrier bags. You could cut out your lettering and stick them on. Now you would need some quite strong glue, something a little bit stronger than your normal stick glue, like the Pritt stick. Oh, hello, wool. Like the Pritt stick, you might need something a little bit stronger than that. I'd recommend like a Boss stick, or one of those kind of like tube glues. Boss stick or Yoo-hoo's really good. If you're using a glue gun to stick on lettering or shapes or whatever onto that, and you're using the carrier bag idea, you might melt the carrier bag. So, and also mind your fingers and stuff. I definitely recommend employing a beautiful adult assistant in this. You could, if you might decide, and I know this definitely happens to me, once I start looking in a certain, under a certain theme or a certain idea, so for example, green, I start finding bits of green stuff everywhere, and I'm like, oh, there's more green stuff, and that might happen to you too. Like I said, if you're putting it outside, marker pen would work well on a t-shirt. Or paint, but yeah, anything like tissue or something might obviously go to mush, and that's not what we want. If you didn't have a lovely, gorgeous, very white, clean t-shirt, you might also have, like I said, another piece of clothing, or what about trying an old pillowcase? They're pretty easy to come by, and you can get them in different colors as well. Or what you might want to do is chop up your t-shirt and stick it onto your pillowcase, or chop up your pillowcase and stick it onto your t-shirt if you've got it in the right color, and almost like a kind of what we would call like an applique. So you'd stick the shapes and do all those bits and pieces on. Now I think that this would, you could, if you didn't want that to look like a t-shirt anymore, cut off the sleeves, make it a little bit more taut at the top, but if you wanted to keep it looking like a t-shirt, which I think might be quite good fun, you might also have maybe, I don't know, a football shirt or something that's in green that you could just use, and then add your own designs and inspiration onto it. But you could also, if you didn't want to hang it like a banner, you could wear it. I wouldn't want to wear this, but you might want to wear it. Then for the banner, and using these really handy little clippy hangers, you could just hang it from, say, a window. You could alternatively, so if you have a window that you can open, you could tie a little bit of string round the top of the hanger, bring that inside, and then you'll still be able to close the window as well. So you might want to have it hanging outside. If you had 500 t-shirts, that would look really cool. The impact of that would look really great. Or you might want to hang it from the inside of your window. When you're hanging anything on the inside of your windows, I use, they're pretty inexpensive, and you can get them in supermarkets. They're like those little, like tea towel hooks, I call them, the little tiny like plastic hooks. They're really good for hanging stuff, and they're white, so they're pretty invisible. You don't really notice them if you're not using them anymore. And I use them all year through for various different things. If it's a birthday, I hang balloons off them. If it's Christmas time, I hang my garlands off of them. And at the moment, I have rainbow makers hanging off of, so that when the sun catches, we have rainbows all dancing around the place as well. So there's a few ideas for making a banner. Did you ever think you would see a t-shirt and you'll never be able to look at one in the same way ever again? Did you think you'd be using one to be making a banner out of? No. But I'm going to be moving quickly on to our next one, which is called Green Dream. And I'm thinking about other ideas for decorating the outside. Okay, catch you when I've tidied this away in approximately 1 second. Okay, so after that brief, tiny little interlude, we're going to get started on the last section of our mini part of a mini workshop in a mini video series. And this is all going to be about using plastic items to make something decorative that you could have hanging outside or in your window or inside, whatever you choose to do. So as always, I always think, like I said in the last little section, that I start noticing things around me that are green, and I started collecting these little lids on things. Now, between you and I was popping these in my recycling, but every time I did, I kind of felt a little bit sad because I was like, I know you're going to come in handy for something. So I started collecting them, and they come in super great different colours. So that inspired me. What could you make with these? You could even add these onto your banner because they make quite good shape. If you had enough of them, you could, or any lids at all, you could make make lettering or shapes or whatever. I also saved this plastic bottle, and I always seem to have a random pair of battery operated lights hanging around. You might want to dust off maybe some of your Christmas lights, I was thinking, particularly if you have outdoor ones. Now, these ones are not outdoor ones. These are for the indoors. But I started thinking about how we could link this up to this. Any ideas so far? And how that could maybe link onto there like that. I love these little plastic bottles, and I'm kind of sad this doesn't have a lid, because I'll tell you why. What I would do if it had a lid is I would punch a hole in the top. I would thread in the light like that to make them almost waterproof. But before I popped that in and screwed the lid back on with the light now inside it, so making a little hole with maybe a little screw and a hammer into the lid, I did kind of start it on there. Whoop, pop. Okay, bye-bye, you're a goner. Okay, this one. I keep dropping things, don't I? So make a little hole in, insert it in, screw the lid back on. But before you do, pop something inside. So if you have any green tissue paper or green card, or you're colouring a piece of green paper, you could put your little designs inside the plastic bottle like that. And then I think tissue paper would work really nice. So then it would glow green, and then screw that on, and do it on every single one. And you've got yourself a kind of mix between bunting and really cool little individual lampshades on each one. You could, if you thought that maybe the bottle was too big, and I actually did start cutting this one. I just don't know how to get that out now. I did start cutting this, but you might want to make your, I kind of think they look like tulip shapes as well. So if you wanted to be able to get in and actually stick things in with more intention rather than just random things thrown into the bottle, you could glue in, and you've got a bit more, it's easy to do, but do the same principle again. And then the weight of them will hang down so that if they are outside, the inside shouldn't get wet technically. Obviously it depends on how you hang them. But then also there's something quite wonderful about, and almost shamrocky about, the bottom of a plastic bottle like that with the 4 little bits on. So you could, same principle, whack a hole in the bottom of it, get somebody to help you, or like I said, beautiful assistants are always great, and there's me dropping it again, but you could bang a hole in the bottom of that, stick that through there like that, and you've created almost this little tiny lampshade. If you had any of your packaging or the carrier bags, you could make little petal shapes hanging over as well, so it's hanging down and it's green, and indoors or outdoors depending on your lighting. Now, I did put batteries in this for this very occasion, so I thought it might be quite nice to get a bit of an idea, but It's almost a little bit too bright in here to be able to see them, but you add lights to anything and you will definitely get that wow factor as well. I then was thinking about the threading through of these, and I was thinking you could go through one side, out the other. But I haven't quite got round to deciding exactly what I want to do with them, but even that looks kind of cool. If you were hanging them inside, you might decide that that would be the center of your shamrock. Or center of your flower, or whatever you do, and then you stick the leaves on with the ones that you might have cut out like that, around the edge, something like that, which I think begins to make it look pretty individual, and pretty, like, yeah, unique in what it's going to be and what it turns into. And maybe you and whoever you're creating with, maybe somebody looks after a certain color, maybe you decide to do the Irish flag, so you've got your orange, green and your white, or maybe gold even, believe in your gold, or maybe what you do is you decide that you're going to do 1 or 2 lights to represent each person in your family, friend circle that you might have around. Okay, so hopefully we've been able to give you some ideas for creating displays or something visual and decorations to start off your homemade parade. We would maybe encourage you to pop things up in the window, stick things outside so that you and your friends and your local community can enjoy all of your beautiful creations as well. And maybe between you come up with a trail or something to look for, and really work together, but still whilst keeping a distance, obviously. We'd like to thank you so much for joining us, for joining me, Jo, Recreate Ireland and Dublin City Council for this year's homemade parade. And we look forward to, and encourage you to watch the other videos, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. All right, take care and all the best, and happy St. Patrick's Day.